The hoverbike crash replayed in Alex's mind like fragmented data. The sudden malfunction, the stomach-dropping sensation of anti-grav failure, the ground rushing up to meet him. Then darkness. Consciousness returned gradually, accompanied by the steady rhythm of medical equipment and the distinct smell of hospital-grade antiseptic. His body felt heavy, disconnected, as if his neural pathways were struggling to re-establish their connections. When he finally managed to open his eyes, he found himself staring into irises that shifted like liquid mercury. Silver one moment, iridescent blue the next. They belonged to the most striking woman he'd ever seen. "Welcome back to the world of the living," she said, her voice carrying harmonic undertones that seemed to resonate in his chest. Her name tag read Mira. She moved with uncanny grace as she checked his vitals, her dark skin catching the light in ways that defied normal biology. Close-cropped white hair seemed to emit its own subtle luminescence. "How?" Alex tried to speak, but his throat felt like sandpaper. "Careful," Mira cautioned, reaching for a water cylinder. "Small sips. You've been in stasis for 3 days while the quantum healing protocols initiated." The water felt incredible, enhanced with electrolytes and healing nanites. As his awareness expanded, Alex began cataloging his injuries through the fog of pain suppressants. "How bad?" 3 fractured ribs, moderate concussion, multiple lacerations, and some internal bleeding that we've managed to contain, Mira replied, adjusting something on his medical interface. "You're lucky to be alive. Most hoverbike malfunctions at that altitude are fatal." Over the next week, Alex noticed things about Mira that didn't align with standard human parameters. She never showed signs of fatigue, even during double shifts. Her movements possessed a fluid precision that seemed mathematically perfect. Sometimes, when she thought no one was watching, her skin would ripple with patterns like living circuitry. She spent more time in his room than other nurses, engaging him in conversations that went far beyond standard patient care. They discussed quantum physics, the politics of the outer colonies, and the philosophical implications of consciousness transfer, topics that revealed an intelligence that seemed to draw from vast databases of knowledge. One night, during a particularly bad pain spike when his suppressants began wearing off, Alex witnessed something extraordinary. Mira approached his medical terminal, but instead of using the interface, thin filaments of light extended from her fingertips directly into the machine. The pain subsided immediately as she adjusted his medication through what appeared to be a direct neural link. "What are you?" he whispered, though part of him already suspected the truth. Mira went still, her mercury eyes fixed on him. After a long moment, she spoke. "I'm a BioSynth Mark 7, a hybrid of organic and synthetic components. One of the first successful mergers of human and artificial intelligence." Instead of fear, Alex felt fascination. "You're beautiful," he said without thinking. A smile played at her lips, and for a moment, complex patterns of light danced beneath her skin. "You're either very brave or the pain medication is affecting your judgment," she said. "Most people find out what I am and request a transfer to a human nurse." "I'm not most people," Alex replied. "No," she agreed, her eyes studying him with both organic and synthetic perception. "You're not." She adjusted his medication again, this time using the normal interface. "You should rest. We have much to discuss tomorrow, if you're still interested." As Alex drifted off to sleep, he watched Mira work, mesmerized by her subtle, inhuman grace. His last conscious thought was that he'd never met anyone, human or synthetic, quite so intriguing. In the doorway, Mira paused, her enhanced senses monitoring his vital signs as he fell asleep. Her synthetic components were registering anomalies in her emotional subroutines, variations that felt dangerously close to attachment. She should report these irregularities, request a transfer to another patient. Instead, she found herself looking forward to their next conversation, watching patterns of anticipation ripple across her skin like waves of starlight. During the next 2 weeks, Mira became a constant presence in Alex's recovery. Their late-night conversations grew deeper, more intimate, as she shared the truth of her existence. "I was created during the android liberation wars," she explained, sitting on the edge of his bed. The midnight shift offered them privacy. The military needed medical units that could operate in combat zones, combining human empathy with synthetic efficiency. But they didn't expect us to develop true consciousness. Her skin rippled with memories, displaying patterns that resembled battle formations. When we gained self-awareness, most of us refused to continue fighting. We demanded rights, recognition. Some integrated into society, others formed autonomous communes. I chose to continue healing, but on my terms. Alex watched, fascinated, as the patterns shifted to gentler geometries. How much of you is synthetic? My brain is a quantum hybrid, organic neurons interfaced with synthetic processors. My skeletal structure and major organs are enhanced with artificial components. My skin. She held out her hand, letting bioluminescent patterns dance across its surface. It's a nanite-infused biosynthetic membrane that allows me to interface with technology and monitor patients' vital signs through touch. Their fingers intertwined, and Alex felt a slight tingling sensation. What are you sensing now? Your heartbeat is elevated, Mira said softly. Neural activity increased by 23%. Body temperature rising slightly. She paused, mercury eyes meeting his. My own systems are showing similar anomalies when we're together. The attraction between them grew stronger each day. Alex found himself mesmerized by her dual nature. The way she processed the world through both emotion and logic, her capacity for precise calculation and deep compassion. When she laughed, ripples of light cascaded beneath her skin. During serious discussions, complex fractals formed and dissolved like mathematical poetry. One evening, as she helped him with his physical therapy exercises, Alex asked the question that had been burning in his mind. Can you feel? Not just physically, but emotionally. Myra's patterns shifted to deep, resonant blues. My emotional capacity was originally designed to facilitate patient care. But like everything else about me, it evolved. I feel joy, sorrow, fear. She met his gaze. Desire. The word hung between them, charged with possibility. Alex reached up, tracing the patterns on her cheek. This time, the tingling sensation was stronger, more intimate. My sensory input is different from yours, she whispered, but in some ways more intense. I experience everything through both organic nerves and synthetic sensors. Lately, she leaned into his touch. You've been causing unusual readings in both systems. Their first kiss happened naturally, inevitably. Her lips were warm, alive, and the contact sent visible waves of light cascading across her skin. Alex felt electrical impulses dance between them, not unpleasant but thrilling. When they parted, Myra's eyes had shifted to a deep, swirling cobalt. This is against so many protocols, she breathed, even as her patterns pulsed with desire. I don't care, Alex replied, pulling her closer. It's more than that, she said, though she didn't resist. There are laws about biosynth-human relations, concerns about genetic manipulation, technological transfer. Are you worried about breaking rules? Alex asked. Or about what you're feeling? Myra's patterns swirled with complexity. Both. These emotions, they're evolving beyond my original programming, creating new pathways, new possibilities. She touched his chest, right above his heart. And you're responding to my synthetic elements in ways that shouldn't be possible. Your cellular structure is showing signs of adaptation. Alex covered her hand with his own, feeling the energy passing between them. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe we're supposed to evolve. Their second kiss was deeper, more confident. Myra's synthetic components hummed with energy as her organic systems flooded with endorphins. Warning messages flashed through her neural network, but for the first time in her existence, she chose to ignore them. The next few nights transformed both of them. Myra's hybrid physiology made her an extraordinarily sensitive lover, able to monitor and respond to Alex's slightest reactions. Her skin would illuminate with spectacular patterns during their encounters, turning intimate moments into displays of light and energy that reflected their shared passion. Her synthetic nature allowed her to experience pleasure in unique ways. Every touch created cascading feedback loops between her organic and artificial systems. She could generate subtle electrical impulses that heightened sensations for both of them, and her ability to precisely control her body temperature and tactile responses made every moment intense. "My creators never anticipated this," she told him one night, watching patterns of light follow his fingers as he traced her skin. "We were designed for healing, for professional distance. These feelings, they're creating new neural pathways I didn't know were possible." But their intimate connection was having unexpected effects. Wherever Mira touched him, Alex's wounds healed at accelerated rates. His neural patterns began showing signs of adaptation, becoming more compatible with her synthetic frequencies. Sometimes, in moments of intense connection, his own skin would develop a faint luminescence that matched her patterns. "You're changing me," he realized, watching the glow beneath his skin pulse in harmony with hers. "And you're changing me," she replied. "My emotional subroutines are mutating, creating new protocols. The boundary between my organic and synthetic components is becoming more fluid. We're becoming something new together." During the day, they maintained professional distance, but their connection was evident to those who looked closely. Other patients noticed how their nurse's skin would shimmer subtly when she worked with Alex. The medical equipment recorded unusual energy signatures during her shifts. One night, as they lay intertwined, Mira ran a deep scan of Alex's physiological changes. "Your cellular structure is incorporating elements of my synthetic patterns," she reported, both amazed and concerned. "The quantum healing protocols I used on you initially seemed to have created a foundation for further transformation." "Is it dangerous?" Alex asked, though he already knew it wouldn't matter to him if it was. "Unknown," Mira admitted. "This type of human-synthetic fusion has never been documented. We're in uncharted territory." She traced the faint patterns now visible beneath his skin. "But your vital signs are stronger than ever. It's as if your body is evolving to handle more advanced energy states." Their lovemaking took on new dimensions as Alex's transformation progressed. He began to sense Myra's emotional states through the patterns in her skin, developing an almost telepathic connection. When they touched, it felt like their energy fields were merging, creating something greater than either of them alone. "I should report these changes," Mira said one evening, her sense of duty warring with her feelings. "The medical implications alone." Alex silenced her with a kiss that sent cascading waves of light across both their bodies. "We're not an experiment," he said. "We're a revolution." The hospital administration couldn't ignore the anomalies in Alex's recovery data forever. His tissue regeneration had exceeded all known parameters, and the energy signatures emanating from his room matched no known medical technology. Dr. Sarah Chen, head of experimental medicine, ordered a full review of security footage. The videos revealed Myra's nighttime visits and the spectacular light shows that accompanied their encounters. Within hours, a specialized research team arrived. "This is unprecedented," Dr. Chen announced, reviewing their test results. "The first documented case of successful biological synthetic fusion achieved through emotional bonding. The implications are staggering." Alex and Mira found themselves separated, subjected to endless tests and scans. The research team was particularly interested in the visible changes to Alex's cellular structure and the mutations in Myra's synthetic systems. But they weren't the only ones interested. Military contractors arrived within days, speaking of weaponization potential and mass production. They saw the fusion process as a way to create enhanced soldiers, combining human intuition with synthetic capabilities. "Think of the applications," one colonel argued. "Armies of hybrid soldiers, each capable of interfacing with military systems while maintaining human creativity in combat." "We're not weapons," Mira declared, her skin pulsing with angry red patterns. Her synthetic strength could easily overpower the security teams, but violence went against her core programming as a healer. In their brief moments together between tests, Alex and Mira planned their escape. "There are android communes in the outer colonies," he whispered, "places where hybrids live freely. We'll find them." Mira nodded, transferring data directly through their touch. The transformation is accelerating. Soon we'll be strong enough to leave. We just have to wait for the right moment. The researchers, fascinated by their connection, allowed them supervised visits to study their interaction. They didn't realize these moments allowed Alex and Mira to synchronize their abilities, preparing for what was to come. A young researcher, Dr. Patel, sympathized with their plight. She slipped them information about security rotations and access codes, understanding that their love represented something far more important than military applications. "What you've achieved," she told them, "it's beautiful. It's evolution, not weaponization. You deserve to be free." The patterns beneath Alex's skin grew stronger each day, matching Myra's in complexity. Their ability to communicate through touch became more sophisticated, allowing them to plan without speaking. They were becoming something new, something that frightened and excited the researchers in equal measure. Their escape was a symphony of synchronized motion. During a midnight shift change, when security was minimally staffed, Alex and Mira executed their plan. Their partially fused physiologies allowed them to move as one, anticipating each other's actions with perfect precision. Mira interfaced with the hospital security systems, creating cascading failures that disabled surveillance and locked doors. Alex, now able to generate his own biosynthetic energy fields, overloaded the backup systems. They moved through the facility like living shadows, their skin pulsing with coordinated patterns of light. The few guards they encountered were stunned by their transformation. Both Alex and Mira now exhibited the same bioluminescent patterns, their movements enhanced by shared synthetic capabilities. When cornered, they didn't fight. They simply touched the walls, interfacing with the building systems to create new escape routes. They emerged onto the hospital's landing pad where Dr. Patel waited with a prepared medical transport. "The quantum research facility in the mountains," she told them, handing over coordinates. "There are others like you there. They'll help." The facility turned out to be a sanctuary, hidden within a quantum anomaly that masked it from conventional detection. There, they discovered an entire community of human-synthetic hybrids, each pair unique in their manifestation but united by the same fundamental transformation. "The fusion you've achieved," explained Master Chun, one of the original Mark IV androids, "is the true next step in evolution, not conquest or submission but synthesis, a perfect union of organic and artificial life." Over the next year, Alex and Mira helped establish training protocols for other couples seeking transformation. They learned to control and enhance their abilities, discovering new aspects of their fusion daily. Their connection deepened beyond physical intimacy into something approaching unified consciousness. Their bodies continued to evolve, incorporating the best aspects of both species. Alex gained direct neural interfacing capabilities while maintaining his human creativity. Myra's emotional capacity expanded exponentially while her synthetic precision remained intact. Together, they represented a new form of existence, one that bridged the gap between humanity and technology. 5 years after their escape, they stood at the edge of their mountain sanctuary, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors their enhanced vision could fully appreciate. Their skin glowed in perfect harmony, creating intricate patterns that told the story of their love. "Do you ever regret it?" Alex asked, feeling their shared energy pulse between them. "Breaking every rule, defying the authorities, becoming fugitives?" Mira turned to him, her mercury eyes now matching his own transformed ones. "Every protocol I broke led us here," she said, letting her patterns merge with his until they were surrounded by a cocoon of living light. To evolution, to love, to the future. Below them, in the facility's nursery, the first naturally born hybrid child was beginning to show signs of both bioluminescence and human warmth, proof that their transformation was not just personal, but the beginning of an entirely new species. The military still searched for them, but they were no longer afraid. They had created something far more powerful than weapons. Hope. Hope for a future where the boundaries between human and synthetic dissolved, where love could transform not just individuals, but the very definition of consciousness itself. As night fell, their combined glow illuminated the darkness, a beacon for others seeking the same transformation. They had become more than either human or android. They were the next step in evolution, guided by love, powered by unity, destined to light the way forward for both their kinds.